highly sought out in the news over and over and over again. He has been linked to many, many teams, and he is, quote, going on some, basically like a tour of like the NFL, and he thinks everybody wants to have him. So overreaction that Derek Carr to the Saints makes sense for Derek Carr and both the Saints. Guys, first things first. The Saints. They are in salary cap hell right now. They are $44.3 million over the cap. Over the cap, they are $44.3 million. So they legit have to trim off $44.3 million of player salary just to even be able to field a team this season. So that means you're basically probably going to cut some big stars. You're probably going to cut or trade Cam Jordan, which is arguably their best defensive player. Michael Thomas is probably out. Alvin Kamara is probably in jail. This is not very good for them. And then their first pick in this year's draft is the 29th overall pick that they got for Sean Payton. So they weren't even going to have a first-round pick until the Denver Broncos decided to get Sean Payton. They had 8 total picks this year's in this year's draft. So for Derek Carr to go to the Saints, they basically have to, any big name that's getting paid over like $10 million, you're out of here. Because Derek Carr is going to be wanting that $40 million price tag. Let's just be honest. He is probably going to want it. He was going to get that in Vegas. He said, you know what? I mean, they told him to kick rocks in the end. So we'll see what he ultimately gets. But he'll probably get that $37 to $40 million price tag. So with that being said, if he goes to the Saints, he is going to lose everybody around him. You are going to be the worst team in the NFL for a very, very long time. You will literally probably be the worst team in the NFL until Derek Carr retires. Unless somehow they nail this draft. They get all 8 picks and they literally nail this draft. I don't see it happening, but maybe they do. Maybe they become a 500 team. Maybe then they get 8 picks the next year's draft and nail it again. Oh, those rookies are starting to perform. These rookies are starting to perform 3-4 years later. They want to get paid. Okay, then what happened? So Derek Carr to the Saints does not make any sense to me whatsoever. This is definitely an overreaction. This is just stupid like at this point. There is a reason why when Derek Carr was a part of the Raiders and he went to visit the Saints and he's like, you know what, I'm not going to accept a trade to the Saints. Because for one, $44 million over the cap. They wouldn't be able to pay his ass. 2, they need all the draft picks they can get to put talent around Derek Carr. So if Derek Carr were to go to the Saints would probably offer them 2 picks, right? Maybe a second or third round pick, let's just say. That ultimately gives you a first round pick and then a 4th round pick after that. I'm not saying it can't happen, but this is dumb. Derek Carr is not going to go to the Saints. Derek Carr is not going to go to the Jets either. The Jets are $2.4 million over the salary cap. They got to cut some luggage there to pay Aaron Rodgers or Derek